Hello, friends, and welcome to a brand new live episode of Out for Coffee. I'm your host today, Mike. Thank you for joining me. I want to say a nice good morning to Lori as well as Rob. And Rob right now is in Florida uh, doing a concert. His Classic Seeger has like 6 or 7 shows down in Florida. So hope those shows are going well for you, Rob. Good morning to our YouTube world. Good morning to our Facebook world. Today we thought we'd have a little fun. I put the ask out there for people to share their questions about the show, about me, want to know a little bit more about what's going on in our world. So I've got some nice questions on the go. I thought it might be more fun to pull them out of a hat slash bowl. I don't know. We'll give it a go though, but hope you're all having a nice morning. I got my coffee all ready to go. Have a moment before I have rehearsal this afternoon, so lots of fun stuff that will be on the go. So why don't we kind of just jump right into it? I'm gonna pull a question and we're gonna see what we have going on, what people want to know. Well, where do babies come from? Amazon. All right, next. What career did you want as a kid and how does it compare to now? Oh, that's a good question. As a kid, I never really had oh, I want to be, a police officer. I never really had those types of things. I do remember though, there was a while where I really was interested in cooking and I thought maybe one day I would be a chef. And that never happened. I do enjoy cooking, but I never did anything professionally with it. But how does that compare to now? Well, I still like eating, so I just do it amateur style, I guess. And also, how does that compare to my current job? I am a fundraiser. I guess it doesn't really compare at all. But I've shared before, but I'll share again. When I was in high school, I wasn't great with public speaking in my early days, and then I also didn't love things like Harry Fox Run, where you had to go around and ask people for donations. Hated it. So it's kind of funny that now my job is fundraising, where I get in front of large groups of people and ask them to make a contribution to our community, and that I love it. So there's a lesson there for high school Mike about just because you don't like it now doesn't mean it can't make a world of difference to you later. So be open-minded about where you want to go with your career. I still am. All right. Tell us about your worst hair day. I remember once I had I had this particularly bad haircut, and I don't. Oh, the reason why I'm struggling is a friend of mine cut my hair. This was back when I lived in London. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Lori. And I had a particularly bad haircut in my London days, and I thought it was quite nifty at the time. But now I look back at it and I realize it maybe wasn't a great haircut. And people made comments about how not great it was back then too. So also I went through a while, I have kind of tall hair, but there was a while where it was pretty ridiculous. I remember at Kevin's graduation, there's a photo of us together and it's extra. I didn't need to go that high with the hair. This is probably the limit, the acceptable limit of what it should be. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Malise. Lori, do I have anything living in my beard? Just lice. No, she's coming off soon though. I got a play coming up and we're going to be doing some changes with what's happening here. So stay tuned. It's not all going. There's just going to be some craftsmanship happening to it all. So Melise, you find that often you hate something at first, and the more you end up doing it, the more you love it after. There's a really beautiful lesson in there, I think. We should all put ourselves into things more often that we don't love immediately, because maybe there's a reason. And usually it's because we don't think we can do it, or we had a bad experience once and we never want to do it again. We don't grow that way. We could be doing better than that. All right, here comes another question. Is Lori like that in real life? Yes. Lori is 100% Lori all the time. You can't even really explain it any other way. You know Lori. That's Lori. That's the Lori I've fallen in love with over all these years. That's the reason why I wanted to have this opportunity to work with Lori, because you never quite know what you're going to get. What's the most embarrassing moment you've had on the show? Oh, okay. Well, on the show, um, I'm gonna say there hasn't really been an opportunity to be embarrassed because that's kind of our culture is like lean into the embarrassment. Just like what are we doing here if we're not having a laugh about it? Don't take yourself too seriously. So I don't really think I've had an embarrassing moment. I've probably talked too much or talked not enough at times, but like that's not embarrassing. That's just read the room, Mike. Oh, Kate, you're not wrong. Kate Leatherbarrow reminded me of the mustard. Okay, that was embarrassing. That was hard to come back from. Oh, it was in my beard. I can still taste it. No, I can't. Good morning, Kate. I hope you're doing well. All right. Oh, speaking of the taste test episode, in the taste test episode, what was the worst thing you had to sample? I'm going to say it was the mustard. If you didn't see it, consider yourself lucky. Oh, it was a lot of mustard. First off, if you're doing a taste test thing, you would normally pair it with something that like actually goes with that thing, not just a spoonful of mustard. That's not fair. Ugh. So I'm gonna say probably that mustard was not only the most embarrassing, but the worst thing I had to taste. I don't know, olives are gross too. It's like an old shoe. Ugh. Where can you get a yodeling pickle? That's a Lori question. That's something I hope I never know the answer to. It showed up and it won't go away. We'll find out for you where you can find yourself a yodeling pickle. I don't know why you'd want one. Lori's is enough. Next question. Hold on, I need a sip of coffee. Is everyone enjoying your coffee this morning? Let me know. How you taking it? I got a little sugar in here. I need a little sweetness to kick things off. I also don't have my like newer ever coffee mug, but I like this OG one with our cute little faces on there and Rob hiding around the back here. I do want my new mug back too. Okay. If you can book any guest, who would it be and why? Well, we've got so many wonderful guests that we've had, and there's so much opportunity for other guests. I guess if I was to get somebody, I don't know, do we want like a celebrity? You know who I've kind of fallen in love with lately, celebrity-wise? Zoe Deutsch. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Zoe Deutsch. She's in a few kind of newer movies, but I realized recently, that she is the daughter of Marty McFly's mom. What's her name? Caroline in the City. Her daughter, Zoe Deutsch. And there's something about her energy I quite like. Oh, please, your milk's spoiled, and you had to start a new coffee over. Oh, that's a tough morning. But you have the early bird roast, of course. Yes, that's good stuff. I believe last time, Melise, we did a live episode, you had also a creamer issue. Maybe I'm mistaken. I might be confusing you with somebody else. But I hope your coffee woes go away for you. What's an activity I don't find fun at all? I don't know, you gotta find fun in the stuff you do, even the stuff you don't like doing. You gotta find some sort of enjoyment. Like, I wouldn't say cleaning is something I like doing, but like if you can multitask it with something, like if I'm in a show, like I'll practice my lines while I'm cleaning, or like sing obnoxiously loud. That makes it a lot more fun. But I don't know. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Broken record. Reading. Like if I have to read something, I'll need another coffee for that one. Julie's doing her food prep this morning. She loves her Sundays. Leah Thompson. Yes, thank you. This is why I need Lori here next to me. Leah Thompson is the actress I was talking about. Leah Thompson's daughter, Zoe Deutsch. She's in things like Zombieland 2. So funny. My neighbors are vacuuming out in the hallway now, so hopefully that comes through. What's my favorite Mike and Lori memory? Lori and I and Rob have had so much fun over the past 2 years. It's really difficult to pick out a favorite memory because they're all, like, that's the purpose of us doing this, right? Like when we said from the get-go, we wanted to have this show where we can share our life and have some good coffee chats and meet some people, strictly for the purpose of looking back on it one day and remembering these silly moments and laughs that we've had. So the whole journey of Out for Coffee has been the memory. there hasn't been many downs. It's been a lot of ups. We've been very spoiled for having a great time. And I put that down to having a wonderful team and a wonderful group of people willing to support, including you guys. So thanks for being a part of this episode today. This may have been asked, Kate says, but how did Out for Coffee start? So how it kind of started was years ago, Lori and I worked together. In my days when I worked at the theater, Lori would bring her students over and we would work together on set painting or construction or prop making, all sorts of fun production related things. And Lori and I really hit it off. You can't really avoid her when you're in a room with her. And I'm glad she pulled me into her vortex because we had a wonderful friendship throughout those years. And then as we move forward, we would have such good conversations about nothing, really. We would just be silly and have chats. And we said, there should be a microphone capturing all this lovely shenanigans that we have. And that's kind of where the idea stemmed from. And then we talked with Rob about our idea, and Rob thought it was a great thing. And he said he wanted to be a part of it. And Rob's involvement has really allowed us to evolve into all it is, because it's a lot of work. So when you have somebody that can handle kind of the tech side of things and the editing and all that, I just show up and wait till Lori bosses me around, and then we have a good time. So yeah, just over 2 years ago, we decided that this is what we're gonna do, and we're still going strong. This will be episode 51. That's a journey, right? Next question. How do you take your coffee? Okay, so I've taken my coffee for the longest time with 1 cream and 2 sugars, but I dialed it back. It's the new year. We gotta take better care of ourselves. So I am down to regular, 1 cream, 1 sugar. I can't not have sugar in my coffee. It's just, it can be too much. The one time at Early Bird, I had their 1 roast though, and it was really delicious without sugar. I was kind of like, oh, they didn't bring sugar. Oh, I didn't need it. It hit the spot. Lori can hear everything I'm saying. Good. Have you ever seen Rob angry? Hold on. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen him angry on the show. In real life, no. Maybe frustrated when some of the tech things at the theater haven't gone the way we needed it to. But it's not even angry. It's like mild annoyance. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what we got to do now. Let's keep going. Rob is so chill. He really balances us out because I have my, what Lori calls my toxic positivity, and then her. It's good to have Rob just as kind of the just par energy. He's just there, and he's such a sweet guy that he makes any time we're together, he makes it better. All right, next question. What is your favorite Out for Coffee episode? Well, this kind of goes back to my answer. I feel like this is a bit of a cop-out, but every episode has a special little place. What I do love is when we get to rewatch it after, we've recorded it, but we haven't posted it publicly yet. We'll do a bit of a rewatch just to make sure that, everything looks the way it needs to look and all that. And at that point, we'll take little notes of silly little stories and stuff that had happened throughout that episode. And that's where Lori and I get our inspiration for our This Week We Discuss photos, which out of context sometimes are like, what is this? What does that even mean? And then you watch the episode and you kind of understand how that made it into the conversation. And I like looking back at those This Week We Discuss. If you go to our Instagram page, for example, and you go to the page, there's a highlights of stories. And there's one for every episode. You can go through those and kind of see the out of context conversations we've had over the years. And as I go through them, there's so many that are vivid in my mind of yes, I'll never forget that conversation. But there's also kind of little moments that just come and go very quickly. But when you see it in the This Week's We Discuss, it reminds me, it's like a diary, but a hidden diary that nobody can understand but us and our audience once you watch the show. But often, I really enjoyed our episode with Bernie at YFM was great because that was our first time going out with an audience, with a special guest, I'm sorry. It was that was very exciting to try something different. And I love that it's become so easy for us. And Rob, maybe not as easy for him because the amount of work that goes into it, but I know he loves getting to go out and try new things and meet people as well. So any of our special guest episodes and on location episodes were particularly fun. Two Guys in a Whisk, that was a lot of fun to do some baking with them. I know it didn't really translate well to a podcast episode. It was more one you had to watch, but that was a good time. If I could go on location to any place to film an episode, where would I go? Any place? I think we should go to Salem, Massachusetts. Lori and I have talked about this before. Her love of all things witchy and my love of Salem. I've been twice now, and I have just found it amazing. Gone with my best friend Alyssa and my good friend Sarah. It's a good time, and there's a lot of wonderful museums and things to see there. So I think it would be really fun to go to Salem. Perfect role, do like a ghost hunt. Ooh, Lori's got some ghost hunting equipment. Maybe we can put to good use, because I don't know. That sounds horrifying and exciting all at the same time. Are you going to do another tasting episode? Oh, here's the thing with the tasting episode. Okay, though it wasn't like traditionally fun, it was a memory maker, and it was nice that we could do that on Lori's birthday last year as kind of like a way to celebrate her birthday. But okay, yeah, there's going to be a tasting episode again. But here's the thing. My husband Kevin and Lori and I have a really great friend Sloan, who have shared that we were too easy on each other and that we need to up our game because that was a little too simple. So they have insisted that they assist with providing us with the food going forward, which really scares me because we have no idea what they will bring, but I have no doubt that it'll be creative and way worse than that mustard. I have a few more questions left here. I'm flying through these, guys. Are you, Lori, and Rob friends outside of the show? Yeah, so we've been friends for many years, and through the theater is where we all met. But during our time there, we had some really great laughs and enjoyed each other's company. So when those chats I was just talking about of creating the show came up, it was a natural fit for the three of us to work together because of our pre-existing relationship and knowing how one another works, and to try something new with people that you're comfortable with, right? Like if you're gonna do something different and all that, it's tough when you have to be self-conscious. Well, you don't have to be self-conscious, but if you are self-conscious or there's anything that stops you from being you 100% in that moment, it's not as genuine, right? So I'm glad that we came together as a team so early so that we could just focus on being our genuine selves and having a good laugh. Is that a good answer? Lori, the Big Mac. Okay, I've purposely been avoiding the Big Mac. Lori's mentioned doing a live with a Big Mac many times, one-on-one, even online or on the episodes. And yeah, I'll do it. But I'm the one that keeps pushing it back. You're right. There's just so much on a Big Mac. It's tough. That day will come. What advice would you give to your younger self? I don't know. My younger self, I felt like needed a lot of advice, but he figured it out. And I think that's part of it, right? Like, I think just moving forward, and when you have like, come at you, just deal with it and move forward. Don't dwell on it. So maybe that's my advice to younger self is don't dwell on it, because there was things that were, tough in the early days. And I needed to trust that everything was going to happen the way it needed to, because look at where I am now. I'm very grateful to be where I am with the people I'm with. So if I gave advice to my younger self, I feel like that might have changed my path. And I'm right where I need to be. I don't need no path changing. But just like younger Mike, keep it up. You might not believe in yourself right now, but you need to. You know what you're doing. All right. This is my last question. I ate this whole bowl of questions really quickly. Oh, what has been the best day of your life so far? I like that you added in the so far there. Um, the best day of my life. I don't know if I ever properly shared this on an episode before. Hold on, this requires a coffee sip first. You guys take a sip too. Oh, Julie, that's kind. Julie says that we are glad where you are too. Well, thank you. Okay, my favorite day ever. October 25th, 2015. That day was my 10-year anniversary with Kevin. We had dated for 10 years at that point. If I go back a little further, and if I'm honest, I was very open to Kevin about us never getting married. Like it wasn't in the cards for me from like day one. I was like, no, I don't think that's something that I'll want to do. But then you get to like year 8, and then suddenly it's like and here's why it worked too, is that he understood why that was important to me, right? Like it took some convincing, but he understood that other things were maybe more important to me, and so he changed his viewpoint over time and respected my opinion, which is wonderful. So he kind of switched sides, and he realized that maybe that isn't something you need to be happy, and it was almost like as soon as the pressure was off from having to get married, it just made sense. Like suddenly I realized this is the person I need. This is the person I want to be with. And that flexibility I saw in him was a really important life lesson of when you love somebody enough, you should be willing to change your viewpoints on stuff, right? So maybe it was now my time to change my viewpoint on things. And but I didn't want to do it just like boring. So I had to mix it up. So knowing that Kevin wasn't expecting a proposal after like year 4, on our 10-year anniversary, I knew we wanted to do something special. I had just started a new job and stuff, so we couldn't go away for a holiday or anything like that. So we decided we are going to just stay home and have kind of a chill 10-year anniversary. But I decided I was going to hold a 10-year anniversary party for us. But here's the thing, Kevin's a control freak, right? So if he knows it's there, he's going to want to plan it. He's going to want it to be perfect. And I just wanted him to focus on enjoying himself. So I held this anniversary party in secret. So I had friends and family. There was I think there's like 100 and 120 people in attendance to come out and celebrate our 10 years of being together. I told Kevin that day we were going to go and get our photos taken. That way he dresses up and, because you wouldn't want to go to a surprise party wearing pajamas and stuff, right? So I told him we're going to go get our photos taken. So gussy up. And he did. And while we were out taking our photos, that is when I had proposed to him. He was very surprised, very emotional, because, 10 years is a long time to celebrate. And to see that as kind of day one of our relationship, 10 years in, is very exciting. So we had a nice moment there. Then after that, so we essentially went from anniversary photos to engagement photos. Well, that's nice. We went to 639 for supper. And while we were at 639, I had asked him if he would be open. I asked him, I didn't ask him, I'm sorry. I told him that at the theater, after we're done supper, we're going to go over to the theater because we have a surprise party waiting for us. I needed him to know because, not everyone loves big, loud, roar surprises like that. And I thought maybe he should be in on it at that point. But not just so he knows, but I also told him that if he wanted it to be that night we could get married, I had all the pieces in place. Should he want that day to be our wedding day, let's do it. Otherwise, if he's not into that, here's the great news. We get to go to this anniversary party and announce our engagement. So there's still a nice cherry on top of the event. So remember, he's a control freak. So is he going to let us get married without him having a hand in any of the planning? Well, he thought hard about it. He asked who was going to be there to make sure that we weren't missing anyone. After a very brief conversation, he said, let's do it. Why not? So we went down to the theater. We were met by all these beautiful friends and family. My mom had done an amazing job of prepping all this food, and there's all this wine for everyone, so everyone was already up to speed by the time we got there. We went after some mingling. We went up into the auditorium, and during that time, we kind of held a little mini concert. We had some friends that are musically talented that sang for us and our guests. And I would get up in between kind of the numbers and share a little bit or a little story. And once we got kind of close to the end of it is when I was telling everyone about my day and all the things I had just shared with you. And I asked Kevin to come up and join me. And that's when we announced that we're getting married right now. A really wonderful friend of ours named Jane Van Patter came up and she officiated the wedding. And it was perfect. Everything about it was perfect. The energy was what I needed to be. It was a busy day, but it wasn't overwhelming. I got the love of my life to agree to be with me. Everything happened that day the way it needed to. So I'm very grateful for everyone that was a part of that. But most importantly, I was grateful for Kevin and his willingness to trust and come along for the journey. So there's my best day of my life. Were you a part of it? Were you there? I know some of you were in YouTube world, but oh, thanks, Josh. I am grateful for your compliments. I'm out of questions though. If anyone had any more, I'm not out of coffee. Everyone could just keep telling me how beautiful my wedding was, please and thank you. Well, I am happy that you all joined us today for this. I hope you had fun. If you had fun doing this Q&A, we would absolutely love to do more. I know that once Lori's back on board, that she would absolutely love to be a part of something like this too. Thank you for everyone. There was a good amount of questions available there. So thank you for submitting. And I really hope that you all have a beautiful day. It's gorgeous out there. Thank you for choosing to spend such a lovely slice of your day here with me today. Go fill up your coffee cups, go out for a walk, do something nice, get some fresh air while we can, because it's been so miserable. Today's the day to do it. I'm telling you. I'm going to go right now and start getting ready for rehearsal. Will I officiate Lori's wedding? You know it. Lori's asking that, if I will officiate her wedding. Yes. Done. But you don't get to tell me what I get to say. That's up to me then. Keep that in mind. Anyways, I'm gonna, where do babies come from? Melise, you might have missed that at the beginning. That was the first question I pulled. Amazon was my answer. Okay. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Thank you again for coming out and joining me, and we'll see you soon on a new episode of Out for Coffee. Bye, everyone.